buyer contingencies. Hi, I'm Izzy with the Graham team, and today I'll be reviewing the buyer contingencies in a residential home purchase contract for Southern Nevada. First, what's a contingency? It's a clause that defines a condition or an action that must be met or accepted for the contract to continue to the next step. If contingencies are not accepted or met, this allows for the buyer to obtain their earnest money deposit back. However, once a contingency period closes, the buyer's deposit becomes non-refundable if the buyer should cancel. The first contingency in a contract is the buyer's feasibility or due diligence. This allows the buyer time to conduct an investigation into the property, such as a home inspection. This is to make sure all the systems and structural components of the home function as they should. Normally, this will be 10 to 15 days from the date the contract is accepted by both parties. If the home requires repairs, then there is a process for the buyer to request those repairs and the seller to agree or decline during this feasibility contingency. If the property is within a homeowners association, then Nevada laws provide the buyer 5 days from the day the seller provides the association documents to review. The buyer may cancel the contract within this time frame if they are not satisfied with the association documents, rules, and regulations. Next is the appraisal contingency. This is the time frame for which the buyer must get an appraisal value on the home. This is always done when a buyer is purchasing with a loan, but a cash buyer may require an appraisal as well. If a home does not appraise for the purchase value, then the parties have to reach an agreement on the price. Buyers are not forced to buy the home more than the appraised value, and sellers are not required to sell for appraised value either. This becomes a negotiation point. However, it must be resolved prior to the close of the appraisal contingency for the buyer's deposit to be refunded. Next, loan contingency. At the time of contract, all of our buyers have a preliminary loan approval. Depending on the lender, the preliminary approval is subject to underwriting approval and conditions. During the loan contingency period, this is when the buyer/borrower provide all the documentation the underwriter requires, and then the underwriter issues the final loan approval. Even the final loan approval will have some minor conditions for closing. The buyer should know these conditions and be very confident that they can comply with them. Once the finance contingency period is closed, and if a buyer cannot obtain a loan or their lender doesn't perform, the deposit money is at risk. Next comes the home sale contingency. This is when the purchase of your new home is contingent upon the sale of your existing home or property. This means you can't buy a new home without selling your existing home first. This contingency has several key dates. The most important is the home sale contingency that must be removed by. Once this date passes, if the sale of your existing home does not close escrow and you are not able to proceed with the purchase of this home, your deposit fines are forfeited to the seller. These are key dates that our team will cover with you and watch very closely. If you're working with your own lender, we will be side by side with you to make sure your lender can perform and they're on target. If you're working with a lender that we have a relationship with, many times we communicate with them directly and the process is seamless to you. So the quick answer to all of this is that contingencies are there to protect the home buyer and to give them time to accomplish a certain task. However, once they pass, the buyer's deposit funds become at risk. So we over-communicate on all of these dates because they are very important. Thanks for watching.